Hello everybody, so my name is Kate Gardner, and today I want to talk to you about a subject that is very close to my heart as I'm going through it right now. So I want to talk to you about finding the positive in perimenopause, how to see this stage of life as an upgrade for your life and for your business, and how to ride it out positively, well, most of the time. So first of all, I want to kick off with a little breathing exercise, okay? And it's only going to take a few minutes. So you're going to take your right hand, bring your index finger down and your middle finger down onto your thumb mound, and bring your thumb onto your right nostril. And you're going to inhale through the left nostril, okay? Then you're going to bring your ring finger down and you're going to release on the thumb side. Inhale, same side. Close both nostrils. Exhale, left side. Do this again. Exhale, thumb side. Inhale, same side. Close both nostrils. Exhale, left side. I want to do this 8 times. Inhale, same side. Close both nostrils. Exhale, thumb side. 2 more, but you're going to do it 8 times. Inhale, right side. Close both nostrils. Exhale, left side. Inhale, left side. Close both nostrils. Exhale, right side. Bring your hands down, bring your hands onto your belly, and just take 3 deep breaths. Breathing into the belly. Perfect. So just by doing that simple breathing exercise, you have balanced your parasympathetic nervous system, you've stimulated your vagus nerve, and hopefully you feel nice and relaxed and ready and open to listen to my presentation today. So first of all, I just want you to think about this. So where are you in this stage? Are you menopausal? Are you postmenopausal, or are you perimenopausal? Okay, so maybe you're watching this and you're in your 30s and you're like, why am I watching this girl? I don't even know what she's talking about. So 50 million plus women a year are globally enter perimenopause. So perimenopause is defined as one day, one moment after 12 months of not having a period, and the average age is 51. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's 51, that's just the average age. So 12 months, no period, that moment, that day, that hour is defined as menopause. Anything after that is defined as postmenopause. Okay, the time before that is defined as perimenopause, and that can last from anything from 5 months to 15 years. Okay, and so what I'm going to talk about today is perimenopause, which sometimes I refer to as the transition. I read an amazing book by Dr. Luann Brizendine, and she describes it as the transition and the upgrade, and I love that, so I might say that. And she refers to the menopause as the upgrade, okay? So for many of us, in our late 30s, we start to feel little things that make us think, that's a little bit off. Okay, so for those of you that are watching me in your late 30s, I'm so glad that you're here. I wish that I had seen somebody like me that would have actually told me some of the stuff that was going to happen to my body, because I had no idea. Okay, so please stick with me, and I hope you enjoy this presentation, and it's really good to just get yourself prepared, okay? So menopause is not just about our period stopping. It's not just a hormone deficiency, okay? Menopause is a complete life transition that a person goes through. It's much like puberty, but it's not about our sex hormones increasing. It's actually about them decreasing. And one of the earliest signs of perimenopause, and everybody is very different on this journey, is your periods getting slightly closer together. And this can start to happen, in your late 30s. So something that I recommend is that you start to track your periods. and you might want to use an app like the Balance app, or you might just want to track them in your phone and start to track when they are, how long they are, the flow, the colour, and start to really get familiar, and also how you feel, you know, throughout the month, in your seasons, like how you feel after your period, how you feel middle of the month, how you're feeling before your period, and start to track that and really start to become aware. That's the first thing that I would recommend that you do. Okay, so for me, the first sign wasn't actually my periods. It was actually anxiety and panic attacks. And I was sitting at my desk at work, and one day my fingers started tingling, and I realised that I couldn't breathe. And I was like, and I sort of just went with it for the whole day. And then that evening, I ended up going to A&E because I couldn't breathe, and I was sort of given some A&E, some diazepam or something like that. And told that I was experiencing anxiety and panic attacks. And that was my first kind of, it felt weird. It didn't feel like it was mine. And sometimes when we get that feeling, it's like, God, that was weird. Where did that come from? It can, I'm not saying always, it can be a hormone. So I would just like make note of that and trust your intuition, your female intuition. So then, you know, years after that, I learned to kind of work with my panic attacks. I never at any stage thought that that was my hormones, or had any idea that was my hormones. So then at 42, so at 40 I moved to Ibiza, and then at 42 I was like living my best life, really happy, and one day I was hit by this debilitating tiredness and brain fog. And again, I wasn't unhappy, nothing like that, it just came out of nowhere, and I literally couldn't get my head off of the pillow. So I started to kind of explore this whole area of hormones, and I then kind of almost became a bit of a hormone expert. I started taking supplements, and they helped me massively. And I do believe that women in their 40s really need to start to take supplements, you know, because of depleted soil and all sorts of other reasons. It's a really important time to start to really look at our nutrition and our supplementation. Maybe you want to work with that yourself by empowering yourself, or maybe you want to work with a naturopath. So I really sort of became almost like a hormone expert, and I went on this journey of sort of finding out and learning and reading and just kind of being obsessed by hormones and the fact that they all start in the brain and how we can affect our brain with all of these different practices. I then decided to start doing some training, so I did a few different online courses, and then I decided that I wanted to kind of take it further. So I started doing hormone yoga therapy, and I trained to be a teacher in hormone yoga therapy. I then did a little bit of CPD training with a lady called Petra Coveney, who discovered menopause yoga, amazing lady. And this year I decided to take it a step further, and I trained to be a menopause wellbeing practitioner. And basically what that means is that I can mentor women like me and like you through this stage. And I was previously a doula, and actually quite a lot of women that are in this space are doulas. It's quite funny. And I do believe that there are certain key times in women's life where we really need to be supported, heard and held. And those times are puberty, when you're having a baby, and perimenopause and menopause. I think it's a really, really important time where women need to really be supported and listened to. And I'm 49, I'm a yoga teacher, I live in Ibiza, and I've been going through this probably for about 10 years. So I was about 39, 38 when I first got my kind of icky symptoms that made me kind of think, oh, what is this? And I've only had 2 periods this year, so I'm well on my way at 49 to full upgrade and full menopause. Yippee! Okay, so let's kind of talk a little bit about science and what is happening in our bodies. And I'm going to refer a little bit to Maisie Hill, who wrote an amazing book called Perimenopause Power, and I'm going to use some of her terminologies because they're so cool and I just love her. I really recommend that you read her book. So what is going on in our period? So women are cyclical, okay, which means that we are kind of constantly on this wave like this, okay? So just to kind of backpedal to what's happening a little bit in our period. So the first half of the month, we're really kind of feeling the effects of estrogen, okay? And estrogen has many, many roles. It's an amazing hormone. It has kind of, I think, over 400 roles throughout the body, and it's an amazing, amazing hormone that makes us feel great. And she refers to it as the Beyonce hormone, okay? So it's the hormone that gives us our curves in puberty, gives us our curves, gives us our va-va-vum, gives us that confident, makes you feel like sexy and hot and ready for action, like literally, it's the kind of hormone that gets you ready for some jiggy, so just before day, this is the hormone that you feel on day 1 to 14, when you're feeling really good, when you get through your to-do list and you could accomplish anything in the world, okay? So that is your estrogen. Day 1 to 14 is when you're really feeling your estrogen. Then after day 14, a follicle, an egg is released, and then our brain starts to send out a hormone called progesterone. And progesterone is more, she calls it the Kristen Stewart, so more kind of quiet, introverted hormone that calms you, that makes you kind of want to chill out in front of the fire, not go out, stay home, because this hormone is being kind of pumped out. Because if you're pregnant, it kind of keeps you safe, okay? And then at the end of your cycle, if there's no egg fertilized, then obviously the lining of your womb sheds and you get a period. And then this cycle starts again, okay? So you're energized, you're feeling fab, and then you're getting a bit more introverted. So we generally go through, and this is like Red School work, just so you know, this is not my terminology, the seasons. So we'll start with our summer, then we'll go into our spring, our autumn, and then our winter. And our autumn in life is our perimenopause, and our winter is menopause, okay? That's not my work, that is Red School work, and they're amazing, those girls. They've just wrote an amazing book called Wild Power that I highly recommend. So in sometimes our late 30s or sometimes in our 40s, so the average age for perimenopause is 41 to 44, but it can happen a lot earlier than that. So what often starts to happen is progesterone, the calming hormone, is the first hormone to start to go down a little bit, okay? Now, estrogen and progesterone always work together, like a ratio. So when our progesterone starts to go down a little bit, what can happen is our estrogen, which is here, can start to go a little bit crazy. And so my teacher, Sally Garozzo, says that they're almost like a lawnmower. So your progesterone is like a lawnmower and your estrogen is like a fertilizer. It makes everything grow. So if you're estrogen dominant, then you'll feel things like sore boobs, PMT, bloating, heavy periods, and things like endometriosis, cystic breasts, really sore breasts, and even cancer can be connected with estrogen dominance. And estrogen makes all of these things grow more. So we want our progesterone to kind of be here. We don't want it to be doing this, okay? We want it to keep our estrogen in check. So women that are in menopause can still be and are often estrogen dominant because their progesterone is lower in the ratio of their estrogen, okay? So yeah, it's really interesting to explain that. So there's lots of, different things that are out there for us as women to be able to use and to be able to try. But what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was some of the symptoms of perimenopause, and these really change. They can be so different. Every person is different. So some that you might be aware of are hot sweats, night sweats, hot flashes, hot sweats, sometimes they're called, mood issues, depression, skin changes, spotty skin, hair thinning, itchy skin. I never knew about that, and I was like, what is going on with my skin? I couldn't stop itching. Also, like allergies can be connected with histamine, vaginal dryness, lack of libido or an increase in libido, increased in PMS, sore boobs, bladder issues, achy joints, brain fog, tiredness, poor memory, and there are lots more. These are just kind of some of them. And in our youth-obsessed culture, women often don't feel valued at this time, and they're often left feeling very alone and very depressed. It's not really the subject that you want to talk about when you go out with your girlfriends, or how you doing? Oh yeah, I'm fine, but my vagina's been really dry. It's not really the kind of thing that comes up, especially the sexual stuff. We feel so much shame around that. So it's just important just to, talk about that stuff and get it out there. So what can you do if you've got these icky symptoms? Okay, so there are lots of things medically that you can do. You know, there are lots of different forms of HRT out there that you can learn about, you can research, you can work with a practitioner on, but there are also lots of things in our lifestyle that we can address, okay? So often, you know, there's a discourse at the moment that is very, very much like all about HRT. HRT is amazing, it has its place, but there are lots of other pillars to health that we really need to address. Okay, so one of the kind of enemies of any hormone condition, especially perimenopause and menopause, is stress. So we really want to start to look at the stress levels in our life, and our body is designed to cope with stress, but not continual stress. And when we're continually stressed, what happens is our hormones, we steal a hormone. The cortisol is like producing cortisol and adrenal. Our adrenals are producing cortisol and adrenal, and they actually steal a hormone called pregnenolone. And pregnenolone actually creates progestin. So if your progestin is low, what happens? Estrogen dominance again. Okay, so stress is the number one. Address your sleep. Really, really important to look at your sleep. When we sleep, our brain shrinks. The spinal cerebral fluid actually cleans all the debris out of our brain. If we don't sleep, then things like hunger, immune system, even like depression and bad mood can all be connected with a lack of sleep. So if you're watching this in your 30s, really start to address your sleep now and really look at how you can optimize your sleep. Moving your body daily, you know, looking at introducing weight training a couple of times a week or resistance training. This actually helps our brain cognition. Look at supplementation. Start to really research, open your mind. There's so much amazing stuff online, so many amazing podcasts. Look at optimizing your nutrition. Eat lots of cruciferous veg, up your protein intake. You know, it's recommended to have 20 to 30 grams with every meal. So if you just have porridge in the morning, not enough. You need to add protein powder, add chia, add like nuts. Look at how much protein you're eating. Really, really makes a difference. I add collagen and protein powder to my smoothies. Smoothies are a really good way to get loads of green veg in and really hit all of your kind of macros as well. Macros. Okay, so where is the positive? I hear you say, okay, so in Chinese culture, when a woman comes into this stage of menopause, she is seen as a wise woman, as having this new form of confidence. She's valued for her life experience, and menopause is considered a new beginning. So this is called second spring. And this is amazing. This is how we should all feel, like excited and glad to be here. But many of us are not. We spend our entire lives, I want to share some little things that hopefully make you feel more positive about this time. So we spend our entire lives on this wave, okay? So how amazing is it that this is going to stop? Your brain actually kind of shifts and changes, and according to Luann Brizendine, upgrades. These kind of times where you're focusing on so many different things and millions of things on your to-do list and the kids and everything, your brain shifts. So you start to shift into a way where you can focus, and you don't want to focus on a million things at once. You want to focus on one thing, which makes women at this age like an amazing superpower. Our brains change. They become like wired in a different way. We're not, you know, socially, we're not thinking, oh, I don't want to go out to that party anymore because I feel really bloated and I've got my period. We're not cyclical. That's amazing. We never have to go and buy sanitary towels again. Yippee! I'm so happy. I can't wait to not have periods anymore. And research shows that entrepreneurs in their 50s are over twice as likely to be successful as those in our 20s. And this is all down to experience. So for those of us that are feeling really crappy, you know, those women that are leaving the workforce and that are feeling really down and want to change their jobs, and you know, the statistics are massive. I've got some statistics here actually in terms of women and the workforce, and women are 2 to 4 times more likely to experience depression. 4 out of 10 women experience symptoms that interfere with their work, and 17% have quit work because of menopausal symptoms. So rather than kind of thinking about that, start to think about yourself in your 40s and 50s as a superpower, okay? So women in their 40s and up influence their parents' and offspring spending and control most household purchasing, and generally have more money to spend, making them an economic superpower, okay? So look at it this way. If the women on the planet were a country, it would be the most powerful country in the world just because of the sheer buying power. And also when women reach their upper 40s, they realise that life is shorter and that there's a greater sense of urgency and determination. And this is amazing for creating a thriving business, okay? So some of the kind of female entrepreneurs, and there are many out there. So Shonda Rhimes was a 51-year-old founder of Shondaland, and she smashed it on Netflix streaming records with her December debut of Bridgerton. Okay, Oprah Winfrey, 68, Kate Moss, 48, Angelina Jolie, 47, Jennifer Aniston, 53, Jennifer Lopez, 53, J.K. Rowling, 57, Naomi Watts, 54, Gwyneth Paltrow, 50, Drew Barrymore, 47. All these women are like rocking it, you know, doing amazing stuff out there, speaking their truth, looking amazing. And, you know, these are the women that we need to look to. We need to look to these role models. So Luann Brizendine, who I really recommend that you read her book, she wrote a book called The Female Brain, which I'll put in this post, and also a book called The Upgrade, which is amazing. And she says, kind of in my words, but in her words, we're free from the dance of our hormones. We know where we're at. It's an exquisite portal into the best stage of our life. It's a deeper understanding into this life, this world, this body, and this mind. It's remembering to listen to the part of yourself that knows the truth, who you are, your success, your failures, and all the things you deafened your ears to in your reproductive years. This is your time. You can learn to live your true dharma and give less shits about what anyone thinks and embrace the second half of your life. And a little quote by Maisie Hill, the author of Perimenopause Power. Perimenopause is a baptism of fire that forces you to face yourself, your history, your future. There is an intensity to perimenopause that we're rarely prepared for, but desperately need to be, because rather than it happening to us, we can have a sense of urgency over our experience and find our power. So I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I loved sharing it with you. If you connected with me and you would like to work with me, I am offering free menopause discovery sessions, a 30-minute mentoring session. So I would love to offer you a free one. If you check my link tree in my bio, and there is a section there where you can click on, go into my Calendly, fill in my application form, a really short form that just gives me an idea of where you're at, and then book into my calendar a 30-minute session. And I would love to connect with you. I'm really passionate about this work and I really want to help lots of women. So if you've got friends that are struggling, if you're sort of not sure if you are, if you're not, then fill in my application form and let's have a chat and have a discovery session. Thank you so much for this time. My Instagram is Perimenopause Tribe. I've got a Facebook community called Perimenopause Tribe, and my wider Instagram is Kate Gardner Life. So please reach out, connect with me. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.